The preamble of the Constitution envisages the socialist pattern of society. That is the system which the constitutional thinkers wanted to change the system from one system to another system. That is why the change of system and social order is a continuous, a regular process which depends upon the fulfillment of the aspirations of the people of that part of the universe. It is, nobody can stop it. The natural, I am agreeing with Professor N.R. Faruqi that the natural process cannot be averted, cannot be stopped by anybody. The people aspirations to be fulfilled, the role of political thinkers, the statesmen, the reformists, the sociologists, the historians matters. That's what has been taking place in the world over. What has happened, the Tsar rule way back in 1917 in Russia, under the leadership of Lenin, the great revolutionary, has made the system to change from the Tsar rule to the social form of system. In 1948 in China, the feudal system has been overthrown by a long march of 3,000 kilometers by the farmers, the working class in China. Today you see in the universe the change of system from the feudal to the social system. It has given the dividends to the people of the country. That country is in a predominant position today in the world over. Its market in the world over. So therefore, a change of system cannot be, shall not be averted by any force. There may be resistance. I agree with him. I fully endorse. Judges are the great listeners and they render judgment. I am not rendering judgment of the speech delivered by historian Mr. Professor Faruqi, but I am presenting it to you my views. The Karl Marx theory of socialism is inevitable. Nobody can change it. I also agree and concur with the view that social change is a must. Social change is a must for the betterment of the humanity. The concept of constitutional values and the principles enshrined under the Constitution, the equality and equal concept and the socialist pattern of society, the egalitarian system of society is very much embedded in the Constitution of India. That's why it's a great Bible for the people of this great country. The equality under Article 14 and 15, the equality, equal opportunity and equal protection of laws is the concept of Karl Marx. That's very much recognized. It is sought to be implemented. That is in that direction the institutions, as both the speakers said, change of winds of change of system, the institutions are very, very important. The institution, the constitutional institutions, in a democracy, the president institution, the prime minister institution, the chief minister's institution, the judiciary have to play a very predominant role to bring the change. Therefore, you look at the parliament, the great institution, how from 1950 to 2014, the evolution and the change has taken place. Change has taken place to fulfill the aspirations of the people. Take for example, I have got so many aspects to tell, but I don't want to take much of your time. I have to complete my speech within the allotted time, and though I am a long speaker, I don't propose to do that. Kindly see the institution of the judiciary, which is a strong and vibrant institution, which is very, very pivotal role playing for evolution of law and protection of the human rights of the people of the country. For example, way back in 1992, Mohini's case, they said a right to education, professional education, was held to be a fundamental right. But right to education, a fundamental right to professional giving a fundamental education, the professional education was diluted by the constitutional bench, to which Justice Jivan Reddy was a a member of the judgment and the author of the judgment, in Unikrishnan's case, in that judgment, they have said that what is the education. I'll come to that aspect little later. What is said is Article 21, before the amendment to the Constitution, Article 21A, capital A, the interpretation made by the Supreme Court is the evolution of law and the change and the thinking of the jurist's mind which required for the people of the country. They said that right to education is very much there under Article 21, and 21, life includes livelihood. It is not just one and a half a sentence, life includes livelihood. Life includes livelihood with a meaningful liberty. You must have a free education, compulsory education up to 14 years. Thereafterwards, the Parliament stepped in. The Parliament, the great institution, stepped in and amended the Constitution, inserted Article 21 capital A. 21 capital A fell for consideration before the Supreme Court, and the evolution of law, interpretation, the change of system from one system to another system, that right to education is a fundamental right which has been accepted by the constitutional bench, the latest judgment. So therefore, the Parliament, the great institution, the judiciary, the independence of judiciary which interprets the law which will be enacted by the parliamentarians, and the action of the political executive is taking care and overall view and review and see that the humanity is protected, honored, and it should be saved. It is the constitutional institution which came interpreted in 1998, Vishaka's case, that the women of this country, the great country, or sexual abuse in the workplace, it must be stopped. So no law was there, but judgment law was made in exercise of power under Article 142. So a change of system which demands, rightly Menon said, the demand of change is there, which is acknowledged and should be acknowledged by the persons who are in the helm of affairs, maybe the Parliament, maybe the judiciary. This is what is being done. And the evolution of law, interpretation of the change and interpretation of the change of system is very much required. I agree with the professor, Mr. Menon, and very excellently presented by Professor Mansa Mukul Das in a professorial lecture. I was not in a position to understand the conceptual idea. As I could gather from both the professors, Mr. Das and Mr. Menon, the universities are centers of education. Yes, we have to introspect. It is too late for a day for all of us. The center of education. The center of education, for what purpose? To whom? Whether it is being serving the common man is the question which we have to pose ourselves, and therefore the winds of change in the universities, not in the universities, in the political executive, to frame the policies of what kind of education required for an orderly society and a social order, to bring the social order is very, very important. Whether social order is there in the world over or in this country are the subject matter of discussion. The winds of change has got more relevance to the present contextual, the problems which are affronting to the people of the country. 50% of the people, the women who are the part of the society, they are guaranteed a fundamental right, 14 and 15 and 39A, give equal opportunity. From ages, their rights have been flouted, infringed very systematically. And that's what both the professors said. Whenever the change required, there is a strong resistance. Yes, the strong resistance must be there, will be there. I will not say must be there, it will be there to see that their vested interest and status quo to be maintained, to subserve a few individuals. A 50% of the woman who is responsible in the world over or in this country, responsible for the development and the progress of the country, if their rights are not recognized, they have been exploited from ages, not given the property right, not given the franchise, their representative character in the institutions which are meant for the people of the country, to take the view and represent that section of the people in a sovereign country. That is required, to change is required. Winds of change is very much required to bring the 50% of the woman to the mainstream. In this connection, the Supreme Court, way back in 1996, the Article Section 14(1) of the Succession Act was being interpreted in Damodarshree Madhya with reference to the constitutional bench in S.R. Bommai's case in the backdrop of 1978 UN resolutions 78, 1980, 1990 the Beijing Conference. They resolved that the woman must be given the cultural, educational, civil and political rights. This is not for individual woman. These rights are given, recognized, to see that the economic development, as Professor Menon said, the economic development in any country, if the 50% of the women are kept aside, not giving their due share for which they are legitimately entitled, and you think of progress and development, no country can progress and develop. So that is the winds of change today in the world over, particularly in India. The woman rights, empowerment of women is very, very important. In this connection, what Swami Vivekananda said, I will only state one statement of Swami Vivekananda. What Swami Vivekananda said, the best barometer to the progress of a nation is its treatment of its women. This is what Swami Vivekananda said. If you don't treat them on par with the other persons for which they have got the fundamental right, you exploit them. Till 1933, till the Amendment Succession Act, despite the constitutional rights, Article 14 and 15, the woman had no property right at all. Article 14(1), right of maintenance, is given, a limited right has translated into unlimited right. That's the interpretation made by the Supreme Court. This is the evolution of law, and which we have acknowledged after 46 years of the country became republic, and after 50 years of the India became independence. So economic growth, economic rights are given to the woman. That is a change. And Part 9A, Constitutional Amendment, Part 9A, the women are given representation. Women are given 33 1/3% representation. Is a change, is a good change. That's why large number of our women, the great rapporteurs, they are excellently more than as presenting to the audience. So that shows empowerment of women. Both the awardees are the girls who have the winners and the runners. They are doing a great empowerment. They have empowered. I will be always telling that woman value is not recognized in the family, the Yajmans, we, the male-dominated society, the woman, the great, the nurse, the woman, the great cook, woman, the great supervisor. These aspects, no economy is attached to that. This is the kind of attitude in the family. The brothers, the co-pastoral right is given under Section 6 of the Hindu Succession Act. The change, the winds of change must start from the house, that's what I am telling. So therefore, winds of change must start from the house. The winds of change must start from the judge. Winds of change must start from the professor. Is required in university. This is what is required for emancipation. Not only the winds of change of women today, the winds of change required for people living in the slums. Millions of the people are living in the slum. What kind of article put inequality? Is it inequality? Is it a liberty? Is it a freedom? Without economic freedom, the persons who are living in the slums, the great Justice Chandrachud, while interpreting Article 14, 19 and 21 in Volga Telly's case, a report in 1986, with reference to the people who were slum dwellers in Bombay Municipal Corporation, a great jurist, the father of D.Y. Chandrachud, my good friend, a great jurist, thought and said, the pigs will not live in a place where no wind, no water, no health condition. People are living because the migration from the rural India. Mr. Menon is right in telling 93% of the people are unorganized sector today in the country. I agree with you. 74% of the population of the rural India, 56% of the people of agricultural laborers today. 56% of agricultural laborers is the policy of the parliamentarian institution, is the Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme, 100 days compulsory employment. So, plight of the country today, poverty, illiteracy, barbaric the barbaric acts which are being indulged in because there is no cultural revolution. Korveki rightly said, the Karl Marx, after the revolution will not stop there. You must culturally change the mindset of the people. Then only the system will function. That is the winds of change. That is the change which is very much required. Today, the winds of change must go towards the humanity. The humanity today, in the world over, everywhere, you are seeing every day what is happening in Iran, what has happened in Iraq, what has happened in Arab countries. I can give a list. I don't want to go in details. So, winds of change is desired by the people. That is because they have got a lot of legitimate expectation. The legitimate expectation is for the common man, is for the woman, for the downtrodden, the persons who are suffering from poverty. They wanted to live a decent life. Yes, the demand, the Menon was telling, there must be a market demand. There must be a mobilized demand to bring the social order. Yes, I agree with you. Market demand and mobilized demand is there, which we have to be. That cry is not reaching to the constitutional institutions, the parliament and the court. What is the number of cases which are coming before the Supreme Court and the High Court? Today is only 3 crores. Do you mean to say that there are no problems for 150 million people, they said? According to me, it is 140 million people, population in the latest census. How many people are starving? How many people committed suicide? These are the subject matters which are required to be pondered over by the policy makers to change the education system. The change the education system is a must. In a very important judgment in Unnikrishnan's case, what is education is what is education, its importance is, from the constitutional perspective, has been highlighted with reference to the from Niti Shatakam by Bharat Tripari, 1st century BC, in the following words which is extracted in Unnikrishnan's case at paragraph 142, it has been translated. I read the quotation from Bharat Tripari, the 1st century BC. Education is a special manifestation of man. Education is a treasure which can be preserved without the fear of loss. Education secures material pleasure, happiness and fame. Education is the teacher of the teacher. Education is God incarnate. Education secures honor at the hands of the state, not money. A man without education is equal to animal. So this is what is understood, 1st century. Have we understood these concepts properly? The policy makers, the lawmakers, law interpreters must understand this and must understand and respect the feelings of the people of this country. It is not the materialist wealth which is very important. It is the human values, the human conduct, the ethical values are very important. If you will protect it, you will honor it, you will practice it if you get good education. That good education is important by this institution. I hope and trust the thoughts, the Menon, the Paruki and other academicians who are galaxy of academicians and my judges who are the great thinkers and jurists who always protect us the human rights of the people of this country. In that direction we will depend and we encourage the change of winds of change in a society to emancipate all sections of the people, to avert the atrocities, to avert the inhuman behavior, the uncivilized barbaric acts which is being committed in the schools, the primary students and the teaching members and the other uncivilized, illiterate, the persons who are attacking on our children. This must be stopped. For this purpose, education is required. We have to liberate them. We have to empower them. We have to see that they are lived. They will be living in a good, habitable condition, in a healthy, in a social order. A social order is the order of the day which is required. That is why the winds of change is very much recognized in the Constitution. I hope and trust the essay presentation students and their presentation in the direction has been given. I once again congratulate them. I once again express my sincere gratitude to Mr. Tandon Justice having thought of me, invited me to this very important and very pleasant evening function where galaxy of the audience are present. Thank you very much.